Thank you, Twinette. I picked a couple old familiar Thanksgiving hymns um, for Twinette to play for us. I think they evoke so many memories for all of us as we remember those words. Are there announcements to be made? About joys and concerns to share?
Well, I have something funny. I went for my physical, which turned out everything was good, but I told them I was out of anxiety medicine, and they'd given me the last time they did it, I got 15, which lasted me several years. And I said I was out now and I needed to renew that prescription. And she said, why? And I said, I'm teaching my grandson how to drive. She gave me 100.
Well, we have a joy. We spent a couple days in Minneapolis with my family there. Our granddaughter, who's a senior in high school, had one of the lead parts in the musical Mary Poppins. And of course, our grandchildren are always the best in the whole cast, and her singing was really exceptionally good. So that was a real joy for us.
I have some friends in Arizona, and I talked with them last week. And he's 95 and she's 93, and they're still living in their own home and doing quite well. Have everything all figured out on how to stay there. And I think that's great. And also my great grandson and his family, they just last Friday bought their first home.
Hmm. Well, I would ask prayers for our neighbor Jan, who lives across the street. Jan's going to be 87 this week. She's still quite fit, and Donna and I were out with her for supper earlier in the week, and she was so grateful that we asked her to go because she said she has a very hard time this time of year, and it's today is the 5th anniversary of her husband's passing, and so we have invited her over this evening for a little get together with my sister Linda, and then she will be heading south to fix Thanksgiving dinner for her daughter who had hand surgery and so can't cook. So Jan's going to make this Thanksgiving dinner. She's quite an amazing person, sings in the Episcopal choir and walks her dog about a mile every day uh, and beats me at golf. So, but if you could remember Jan. Let's rejoice in the things that need rejoicing and lift the things that need to be lifted to God in prayer. To do that while also holding them tenderly in our hearts as a community of faith that we are, bearing as a Bible verse says, one another's burdens. Let us move into some silence, and I'm the worship leader this morning, and I'll speak out of the silences I feel led. Well, in keeping with my evangelical upbringing and its emphasis on the Bible, I have some scripture to share, of course. And this is some pieces from 1 Chronicles 16, beginning with verse 7. That day, David first appointed Asaph and his associates to give praise to the Lord in this manner. Give praise to the Lord, proclaim his name, make known among the nations what he has done. Sing to him, sing praise to him. Tell of all his wonderful acts. Glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. Look to the Lord in his strength. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Proclaim his salvation day after day. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous deeds among all peoples. Let the heavens rejoice and let the earth be glad. Let them say among the nation, the Lord reigns. Let the sea resound and all that's in it. Let the fields be jubilant and everything in them. Let the trees of the forest sing. Let them sing for joy before the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Singing trees and jubilant fields. I love those lines. We take them, I think, as poetic language, thinking, well, these are things that don't really happen. I always have wanted to tease my more evangelical friends with their emphasis on every word of the Bible being true, saying, well, that doesn't really happen, does it? Except maybe it does. Could it be that golden light that transforms field trash into something of beauty is a way of the fields being jubilant, reflecting God's light back to God? Could the graceful, waving, naked limbs of trees in this season be hands uplifted in praise? Well, maybe that's a bit mystical, but perhaps we could use a bit more mystery in our lives. For, true encounters, I think, with God are more than slightly mysterious. What amazes me most, though, at this time, while I can see some of those things, I'm blind to much of the remarkable ordinary that I take for granted, the things around me. I love living in our new place here. I enjoy watching the gardeners who come through regularly to groom the lawns and trim bushes and pull weeds. I like the way the lights come on when I flip the switch. I have not had any power outages since I moved from the farm. Not too many squirrels or cars hitting tree poles and knocking them down. The nice warm home filled with light that's here. If I stop and think about it, they're all gifts in my life. And I was reminded of that when I reread this week a poem by Garrison Keillor. And he starts, you know it too, my friend. And so tomorrow when you rise and stand under your shower and you acclimatize, reach for the knob marked H and turn it off and stand in prayer. Lord, help me appreciate what soon will not be there. And may I be more thankful, more wakeful unto thee, and more aware of the sinful pride in my complacency, a less inclined to take for granted the gifts I get from you. And now for everyone and praise and honor, woo! And stand in creation with with proper reverent awe, and look upon these wonders with joyful spirit. Oh! And finally, in conclusion, may I just say amen and open your eyes, turn on the warm, and now be clean again. I just love him bringing the commonplace and then putting us in, okay, turn off the hot and stand there in the cold until you really get chilly, and then thank the Lord for that. I will say that even though I no longer live in the country, I often go on rural rides. I'm sure Donna gets tired of some of my commentary as we're out and about. I take in the beauty of the harvested fields at this time of year. South of here, it's more rolling and the fields aren't as vast. North of here, it gets flatter from the glacier and they seem to go on forever. Those trees stretching their limbs. And the rolling terrain and the light that gets cast at this time of year. Of course, for me, what makes the countryside most beautiful and rich are the memories it evokes. We were the city bills. My grandfather was the only one of his 9 siblings that moved to town, to a city, and the rest of them were all farmers, and they always thought of us as the city bills. But we often made our visits to the family in the country. The country boys would torment me with farm pranks, and when they came into town, I would do the same with city pranks. But I think of the people whose woods I walked in with my father, and every Thanksgiving we would go pheasant hunting. I mostly shot tin cans, but we walked Uncle Bert's fields. And then there were haylofts. The houses we gathered in for meals, the folks past and present who molded my life. I remember Grandma and Grandpa Bill, Uncle Johnny, Uncle Bert, Aunt Ori, Grandma Shields, all who molded my life. A parade of Sunday school teachers, youth group leaders, and pastors mark past as I reflect, as do people from the present. My children, my friends, my sisters, the high school buddies who I gather with once a month. The seasons of my life have been blessed by a rich bounty of people, not crops. And I'm richer for them. They have all been the jubilant fields and singing trees for joy before the Lord. For he comes. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. They planted seeds of faith in my life and watered them and watched them grow. And some of them have sung the song of Harvest Home. And I miss them. Some I get to see daily. Regardless, they all continue to bless me. A favorite poem of mine, and I've shared it before at this time of year, is by Max Coot, a Unitarian minister who writes, "Let us give thanks for a bounty of people, for children who are second planting, and though they grow like weeds and wind too soon blows them away, may they forgive us our cultivation and fondly remember where their roots are. Let us give thanks for generous friends with hearts and smiles as bright as their blossoms, for feisty friends as tart as apples, for continuous friends who, like scallions and cucumbers, keep reminding us that we've had them, for crotchety friends as sour as rhubarb and just as indestructible, for handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and elegant as a row of corn, and the others as plain as potatoes and as good for you, for funny friends who are silly as Brussels sprouts and amusing as Jerusalem artichokes, and serious friends as complex as cauliflowers and as intricate as onions, for friends as unpretentious as cabbage, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see you through the winter. For old friends nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on fast as radishes. For loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. And finally, for those friends now gone, like gardens past that have been harvested, and who fed us in their time that we might have life thereafter. For these, we give thanks. So as we approach Thanksgiving, let us give thanks for golden light, goods, friends, and God's graciousness. May we remember those who have blessed our lives. May we open our eyes to jubilant fields and singing trees. Soaring clouds, be they white or gray with rain. Winds warmed from the south or chilled by the north. For people who are made in God's own image, let us give thanks and sing for joy before the Lord. Give thanks to the Lord, for his love endures forever. Thank you, Twinette. We'll now continue with unprogrammed worship for those who can stay. We know others have obligations and need to leave. So wishing those who need to leave a good week and a blessed Thanksgiving. And we'll just continue with more worship.
Thank you, Twinette, Brent. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, Brent and Twinette.
Thank you both. And happy Thanksgiving.
Everyone, safe travels.
Thank you both.
if friends' hearts are clear, we can close meeting for worship.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for your thoughts, Brent.
Thank
Very
you,
helpful
Brent.
as always.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to